Hey, this is Zane Goodwin with Goodwin Luxury Homes. We're a design build firm located in both Los Angeles and Atlanta. And let's get into European versus American windows. In this home, we are using Aluprof, which is a Polish company. And European windows are typically tilt-turn windows, meaning that it's kind of a inside casement window where when you turn a half turn, you get this, where you open interior. Europeans always kind of freak out when we're pushing windows out via a crank and a casement type window. And this also has a secondary function where you can turn all the way up and vent the top. And so this would be a situation where it may be raining outside and or you want to get airflow without having this window fully open. All of these types of windows, the major thing that we're going for is there are multiple seal places where as this comes in, and also you can see if I switch on this side, there's multiple locking points. So this mechanism, the whole window will pull in and press against all of these multiple sills to get an amazing air seal that is substantially better than your average American window. There are a few American brands out there that do air seal super well, but in this situation, the Europeans just do it that much better when it comes to high performance. We know there are two types of windows. There's a window that leaks and a window that's about to leak. So we make the assumption that from day one, your window is going to be leaking. So in a traditional situation, we wouldn't tape the bottom flange of an American style window. What we would do is we would flash, and you can see this liquid flashing here, that we did that still on this window, but we would flash the bottom of the framing and we would leave the bottom of this window open so that when water leaks down, that it has a pathway out. In this situation with this style of European window, this bottom tray, which has a kind of line right under these water weep holes, there is no way for this to break. So like these two pieces of the extrusion coming together as the outside frame, there's this whole bottom tray that's there, that the only way for that water to get out is through here. So we decided, therefore, we would rather push the air barrier out to here as opposed to doing a air treatment on the inside of the windows like we would traditionally do. When you're thinking about windows and the performance of windows, there's many considerations, and why really no one size fits all is not really a prescriptive path. This is a performance related to your specific home. And so like when talking about insulation values, we can say, hey, if we fill this 2x6 depth with some version of fluffy stuff insulation, this is a R21 section, this section. But if we take into consideration this piece of wood, this is 5.5 inches, 2x6, and it's a R1 per inch. So it's a roughly 5.5 to 6 R value for that path. Then if we start to take the framing package as a whole in this whole wall, then we can start to see, hey, this is maybe 15 or 20% of the whole wall is framing. If we take just this opaque space of R21 for the whole thing, it may be 30-ish% of the wall. Then now we get into glazing, where this is a R5.5 window, and this may be as much as 40% of the wall. But it's why it gets important that we start calculating everything out, because this is not a R21 wall. This may end up being R8 wall. And is that enough based on HVAC systems? And then, this wall is different than the wall behind us and the other walls, where we may have a substantially higher amount of insulation versus the glazing in that wall as far as the total percentage. So it's why you have to think through all of these things, and why honestly windows make the biggest difference if you have a high amount of glazing in your wall system. That R value, if we just take this up to R6 or R8 or R9, this makes a massive impact, more of an impact than if we made this a R40 wall. So all of these things are taken into consideration from a design perspective. So it is not just, is it beautiful, it is also, does it perform? And that's where we marry both of those.